Today I'm having some fun with resin. I'm making an ANZAC poppy pendant. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Carol, and on this channel I show you how easy it is to make your own jewellery. If you're not from New Zealand or Australia, you may not know what ANZAC Day is all about. So I have left you a link in the description box below for a blog post that I wrote all about it. But in the meantime, let's get started and make this pendant, and I'll walk you step by step through the process and talk about everything that you need. I know it looks like I have a lot here, but I don't really. This project doesn't take much at all. So we'll start with the resin. You can buy resin at any craft store. I bought mine at Pete's Emporium down here in Lower Hutt, and it comes in two parts, part A and part B, and part B is the hardener. So you need to mix the two together. So I'm just going to move those out of the way. You also need a spoon and a little container to mix your resin in. Now I've just got a little disposable shot cup here and a plastic spoon. You'll need some scissors. You'll need 2 pairs of pliers, chain nose pliers. You'll also need a tiny piece of double-sided tape, and I've just stuck it on a non-sticky piece of paper for now. In terms of jewellery supplies, you will need a cabochon pendant. Now this one is about 34 centimetres in diameter, and what's really important is it has a rim around it. So you can see there it's got a lip. I have here some chain, and as I said, I'll leave links in the description box below, and I've got 60 centimetres of chain. It's a reasonably heavy chain because this is a big pendant, so I wanted them to balance. I have a 10mm jump ring. I have 2 6mm jump rings, and I have a 12mm lobster clasp. I've also got my little printouts here. Now this is the one I'm going to be making today. It's a poppy, and my daughter drew it for me. And if you would like to make one, I will leave a link so that you can download this in the blog post. And this is another one that my daughter also drew. My daughter's an artist, and she's got written on her t-shirt, Maori Spice. And so I might make that one up for her as well. We'll see how we go. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is cut out our poppy. Now I wanted to talk to you about the different printers because I had a few fails, as I said. So this one here, I printed on a laser printer, and our printer it's not very good, and as you can see it has a line through it. Now I also printed this one on the laser printer, and I do like the antique look of it because it's a little bit faded looking. This one here I got printed at Warehouse Stationery because I thought I wanted brighter colours, and you can see there the colours are a lot brighter, but even at 100%, the Warehouse Stationery one printed significantly smaller, so it's about 4mm smaller. So that's something to watch if you are going down to your local stationery store to have it printed. Make sure it's the right size. And then this actually spurred a really expensive purchase because we started talking about printers. We ended up buying a new printer, not for me, for my daughter to print her art. So it became a real thing. That happens in my family. So this is the one that I ended up with the new printer, and it's printed on glossy paper. Obviously you don't need an expensive printer because I think my original one looks pretty cool. Okay, so you're going to cut out your piece, and you just cut on the line, so just around like this on the line. So making sure you don't cut any really very much off, but it's not a big deal if it's not 100% perfect. You just really don't want any of the white showing, and you don't want to cut a significant amount off because obviously you want to you want it to fit the space. Now I could have cut this with my Cricut if I wanted to. There we go. That's easy. Now we're going to take our double-sided tape Okay, it's foiled me because I cannot get it off this little piece of sticky paper that I put it on, so I'll just grab another piece. I thought it would be better than leaving the whole roll on my mat here, but never mind. Okay, so I've got a little piece of tape and I'm going to stick it onto this pendant. Doesn't matter where. And now just peel off the sticky back. There we go. And I'm going to pop on my poppy. Now I want to make sure it's the right way up. It kind of has an up and down, and but you can put it any way you like. But I like it that way, with the two inner petals at the top and bottom. And I'm just going to run my thumbnail around that just to make sure it's sitting kind of inside. Now if you had left it a little large, you could use your thumbnail to trim it, to find out where you need to trim it. Now if you look really closely at this, you will see that there's a little gap. It doesn't matter, the resin will fill it. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to start to play with the resin. Okay, so I need 2 parts of part A. Now you can buy resin, as I said, at any craft store. So I'm just going to measure a little bit out. And it is pretty sticky, and you do want to use it in a well ventilated room and all of that stuff. And 1 part of the hardener. You also need to have a cloth handy. Right, so now I'm going to take the wrong end of my spoon and stir it. Now when I first did this, I thought you had to whip it really hard, because I'm a whipper, I like to stir things hard, and I got bubbles. So don't do that, just gently stir it. Now you need to stir it for 3 minutes, so it is a reasonable amount of time. So I'll come back when my resin is ready. I've been mixing now for about 3 minutes. So I'm going to take my pendant and I'm just going to wipe off that excess and pop it aside where it's not going to get on anything. And I'm very carefully going to pour the resin over the top, a little bit at a time. I just want it to spread out. You can see I'm doing it a tiny weeny bit at a time. I just want it to spread out to fill the space, and that is looking like it's enough. Now you can see, I hope you can see this, I've got some bubbles. So what you do to get rid of bubbles is you blow on it. Actually, I'm going to wait a little bit because it's way too wet right now, and I'm going to, yeah, it's still moving around, I can see. So in about 5 minutes, I'm going to blow on it and I'm going to get rid of the bubbles, or you can use a hairdryer. Now I'm actually going to make another one with my excess resin. So I've already cut this one out. I had 2. And we'll move her around. Now these pendants are double-sided, so you can put one picture on one side and one on the other, and that would be really cool. You could use it for photos of your kids or mum and dad, or there's lots of, actually heaps of applications, but I have one customer who uses cabochons like this for her art and sells them, and that's what my daughter was thinking she might do too. So just while that's doing its thing, I'll just pop this one on. There we go, and pour this little bit over the top. You want to be really sparing, a little bit at a time. Now all those bubbles have disappeared. I don't know if you can see that, but they've actually disappeared from that one. So that's good. A little bit more. Now I'm just going to set those aside there very carefully. Now the thing with resin is it takes about 24 hours to dry, and when I did my first one, this one here, I didn't wait long enough because I'm really impatient, and I put it on my desk, and I'm not sure if you can actually see this. I'll try and get it so you can see it. And I, for some reason, put my phone on top of it, and my phone stuck to the resin, and it was about 12 hours in. So 12 hours in, it was still sticky, and so I actually cracked the resin a little bit, if you can see that there. But actually it kind of adds to the antique look of this one. These ones, the colour's so much brighter that it doesn't have that antique look, but this one does, so it kind of works. Well, I think it works. Now I'm going to show you how to make it up into a necklace. So what we're going to do is we're going to add it to our chain, and I've got a 10mm jump ring here. Now this jump ring's quite a sturdy one, and I wanted a sturdy one because A, I've got a good sturdy chain, and B, I've got a good sturdy pendant. Now as I said, I could have done something on the back as well, but you would need to wait till this one was dry and then flip it over and repeat the process, so that could take you a few days to do that. I'm going to take both pairs of my pliers and open my jump ring. If you haven't opened jump rings before, I'll leave a link in the description box below for a video, a little bit bigger maybe. And I am going to just thread on my jump ring, just like that, my pendant to the jump ring, and I'm going to close up my jump ring. That's what I have now. Now the reason you need a jump ring is because if you didn't use a jump ring, your pendant would sit this way as opposed to this way. Now I'm going to thread on my chain. Now this is 60 centimeters of chain. You could absolutely use less if you wanted your pendant. It sits about here, and if you wanted your pendant to be shorter, you could absolutely use less chain. Next, I'm going to put the clasp on. So I'm going to take, now me being right-handed, I'm going to put my clasp on my right-hand side and my ring on the left-hand side. So I'll do the ring first. Normally when I attach the clasp, I use a 4mm jump ring to attach the clasp to the chain, but because this chain is quite chunky, I'm going to use a 6 today. And my jump ring, this one's already open, so I'm going to just thread that on and use my pliers to close the jump ring. And then I'm going to put on the other end my jump ring, threading it on, and this time I'm going to thread on the loop of my clasp as well and close it up. Okay, so there's my two ends of my clasp. All I need to do is do it up. There we go. Those pendants are going to take a couple of days to dry, so I am going to leave them there. Well, I'm actually going to move them very carefully to another spot where I won't interfere with them for the next 24 hours. And the bubbles have all gone, so I don't need to worry about that. But if, as I said, if I did have bubbles after 5 minutes, I would just either blow on it very gently, or I would use a hairdryer quite a way away, so you don't want to blow the resin too much, and it just gets rid of the bubbles. I will definitely be playing with more resin in the future. My head is exploding. I've got so many ideas. So if you enjoyed this video, it would be really great if you would consider subscribing to my channel, and also like the video and ring the bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. This really helps my channel grow, and it will help me bring you more videos in the future. So I'm going to leave my little pendants now to dry. If you would like to make one yourself, I will also leave a link in the description box below for a corresponding blog post where you can download the image. I'll also leave a link to my daughter Jenna's website so you can go and check out her art as well. And remember to check us out on Instagram and Facebook, as well as to enter the competition from last week. Now, if you don't know about the competition, you'll have to go back and watch last week's video, which was the glasses chain, to find out all the details of how you can win a $50 store credit. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have a wonderful week. I'll see you again next time.